Ask you a particular question. I'm not sure if you're a religiously observant Jew. I heard a Zionist rabbi say something the other day, and I want your thoughts on it. He said, how do we expect God to help us when amongst 100 soldiers in the IDF, 30-something% are gay, and a certain percentage are atheist, a certain percentage mock God, and a minority believe in God? Now, he's speaking about a reality we all know. Israel is a secular, liberal state. Is religiously observant Jews are a minority.
Is that right?
Yeah, this is a fact.
Right.
All across Israel, you will see that the
I think the statistic is changing. I think the number of religious Jews is increasing, and they are going to supersede the secular, if they haven't already.
Currently, the LGBT movement, the secularist movement, they're right at the top. They're right at the forefront. They're the majority. Ask you a particular question. I'm not sure if you're a religiously observant Jew. I heard a Zionist rabbi say something the other day, and I want your thoughts on it. He said, how do we expect God to help us when amongst 100 soldiers in the IDF, 30-something% are gay, and a certain percentage are atheist, a certain percentage mock God, and a minority believe in God? Now, he's speaking about a reality we all know. Israel is a secular, liberal state. Is religiously observant Jews are a minority.
Is that right?
Yeah, this is a fact.
Right.
All across Israel, you will see that the...
I think the statistic is changing. I think the number of religious Jews is increasing, and they are going to supersede the secular, if they haven't already.
Currently, the LGBT movement, the secularist movement, they're right at the top. They're right at the forefront. They're the majority.
Okay.
Right? How can they try and justify their state, even from their own narrative, when in the end, it's not actually a state for Jewish people in terms of Jewish observing Jews. It's therefore essentially Zionist settlers from Europe with liberal values.
That's right. And of course, Judaism is one of those odd groups of people who are described as ethno-religion. So it's an ethnic religious group. Some people, like me, aren't particularly religious at all. I grew up, I had my bar mitzvah, we had the Jewish services, and when I was a young man, I experimented in other religions. I was interested in the idea that there's somebody upstairs who's creating all of this, and then after a while I gave up with the idea. But that doesn't stop my ethnicity.
Okay.
So
but
this fellow you were describing, and you asked me what I thought of him, that sounds like a bigoted opinion, and you hear bigots from all the religions.
But if I was to ask you a question, David, right?
Yes.
I'm not saying you don't believe in God, but say you don't believe in God, then you cannot use the Bible as justification for Palestine. And the problem I have in terms of their narrative, there's many of them who don't believe in God, they mock God. I've seen a video of IDF soldiers mocking God before going out for an operation. How can you in the same breath mock God and also believe God gave you the Holy Land?
Well, can I just say there are idiots from every country. You've just described a horrible...
We have ISIS.
Yeah. You've just described a horrible thing where you have soldiers in the IDF mocking God and then going out. I don't make a point of looking for these videos, but I wouldn't deny the idea that these videos exist. And that's just horrible and just horrid. And if these poor people in Gaza have nowhere to go, then they're going to remain victims. I don't know how the solution should be.
Do you believe that currently there is a shift in global opinion where people who previously on the fence, they become anti-Israel now? Because everywhere I go, other than Zionist Christians and Zionists themselves, it's very hard to find anyone supporting them.
I'm sure you're right. And that worries me for my friends and family who hate Netanyahu and feel terribly for what is happening to
But don't you think Netanyahu
who live in Israel?
Yeah. But don't you think Netanyahu is just a symptom of the problem, not the problem itself? So the problem.
And we don't disagree.
Yeah.
I mean, he's only doing what he does to stay out of jail.
And how many? Look, there's a statistic I read online. 80-something% of Israeli support what's happening in Gaza, and they know what's happening in Gaza.
I don't know that statistic. That's very sad.
Yeah.
I guess
he's only
that's a
representing
mixture-
his people, isn't
That's
he?
a mixture of very frightened, angry, and bad people.
Either way, whatever
I mean,
whatever the
if you look
reason
at it,
is,
if
they
you can-
support.
If you can switch your brain around
Yeah.
and imagine you're in a small country surrounded by people who hate you, the only way to respond to that hatred is to become angry and fight. Do you understand
I
what a
don't-
rat would feel like if it's surrounded by enemies?
But I wouldn't go with that description, because they know that's not their land. They know they're invaders. They know they're settlers. They know their history.
To play the devil's advocate now, and you could say that about most countries if you go back far enough.
But that doesn't justify it.
No, it doesn't justify
Just,
it. But
and by the way, just to be
I
clear,
mean, all the countries in the Middle East were created by Europeans with pencils.
no, they were. But for example, if you take a family from Nablus, they were previously under the Ottomans.
Yes.
Before that, they were
previously under the British, then
Yeah.
the Ottomans.
Before the Ottomans, the Abbasids. Before
Yes.
the Abbasids, the Umayyads. But the fact is, they were there from that land.
Oh yeah.
These people are from Russia. They're from Poland.
Not only.
But you get but most of them are from Eastern Europe and Russia.
I don't know the numbers. There are sizable numbers from Eastern Europe. But as I say,
And their values are alien to
and what I'm saying is that the children may be part Russian, part Yemeni, part Syrian, part all sorts of things. So yeah, it's a created country.
It is a created country, and the solution, what they're applying right now, they're actually alienating people who are not party to the war. So the war is between essentially the Arab countries, the Muslim world, and Israel. The actions of Israel has made third parties, people who are sometimes completely unaware of what's happening politically around the world, hate Israel. Like, I travel different parts of the world, right? I go to Africa, I go to Latin America, I go to...
What do you do for a living?
Long story. But I'll tell you
Roughly.
something. Roughly. I talk to people about Islam.
Are you a journalist?
No, I just... I speak to people about Islam, I convey Islam.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you're
we
a
actually
preacher.
have we actually have a...
Are you an imam?
No, I'm not an imam. We actually have a team in Jerusalem, and they are Jewish people becoming Muslim. So
Why not?
Yeah, we call people to Islam. That's our main
Okay.
thing, right?
All right.
And the thing is, even now, while the genocide is happening, some Israeli Jews are becoming Muslim. Because the humans, at the end of the day, their quest for faith is something that will outlive and outlast political games and
Why
all
do you
these
think we
things.
need faith? Why can't we survive on our own? Why do we need to have somebody or something out there telling us this is how to do it? Why can we not trust ourselves to find... I mean, I am a moral person. I have a structure of morals.
Right.
And I don't need somebody to tell me what these morals are. Do I?
I think you're a moral person because you were created by God and given a sense of morality. Now, you know sharks, before they're born, they kill each other in the womb.
They do.
Yeah. So they're killers before birth. They're not born killers. They're killing unborn.
So God did that too.
No. What I mean is, God, if He wanted to, could have created us with our natures being like sharks. But God has given us a ethical nature, a nature of morality. Look, for example, you're from a Jewish background, I'm from a Muslim background, yet when it comes to morals and ethics, we're mostly in agreement with each other. Where we would disagree is political differences, but in terms of should children be killed, no. That man there, I kept asking him, do you condemn the killing of Hind Rajab? He refused to answer.
Who?
Hind Rajab, you know, the girl that was killed. 300 something bullets when she was in the ambulance, calling her family, and the IDF shot her dead. He refused to answer the question. So we can agree on moral issues, right? I believe, David, this morality comes from God. And God has created us with a need to believe in something more than the material world. If I was to give you $1 billion, do you think everything in the world, you bought it and you did what you wanted, you'd find true happiness?
Was that a real question?
Yeah.
$1 billion. I just came back from America and breakfast costs $50.
Well, it's cheaper than the Dorchester just down the
true.
road.
Well, of course you know the answer to that. Materialism does not lead to happiness.
And the Islamic...
no, that's not just Islam, that's common sense.
Yeah, no, the Islamic answer is, in the remembrance of God do hearts find peace. So it's with your connection to God that you'll find peace. It's not through materialism.
Well, if walking through a beautiful forest on a beautiful day is a connection with God, then I'm all with that. I just use different words. I feel that there is creation because there is creation. And I don't need...
So you don't believe in a God? You don't believe in a God?
I don't need to believe in God. I'm happy with existence. And I think that existence has always been there and will always be there in different forms. I'm not going to say I know why,
Right.
but I can't with true confidence say there is no God because I don't know. And I'm always intrigued by people who do know.
Okay, if I said to you, I know with certainty that there's a God, right? If I said to you, I know with certainty there is a God, what would your reaction be to that?
I'd say congratulations.
Okay, but wouldn't you want to know why?
I've been around the planet a few times, around the sun a few times, and I've heard all the discussions. I don't need to hear them.
Subboor. Yeah. So, if I was to give you a simple argument, I'm sure you've heard it before, the design argument, right?
Design?
Yeah. In our DNA, there's 6 billion letters. And those 6 billion letters are in each cell. So your lung cell, your heart cell, your brain cell, your skin cell. And all of those cells, they work together to make tissues and organs and then your entire body structure. And it allows you to have consciousness. It allows you to be a moral being. It allows you to be a being with cognitive architecture. All of this for me is phenomenal and amazing.
It's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah. So I would look at design and say there's a designer.
So I would say that over the millennia, over the billions of years in our creation, this design has developed.
Right.
To begin with, there was only a one cell. Then that doubled, and then that quadrupled, etc. Until we have this extraordinary, I won't use the word miracle because then we get into God territory. We have these extraordinary things. We're able to have this conversation and discuss that. And I think that we have the science now, the wonderful science, to understand how this came about. But going back to what I said earlier, that does not mean that something above created this. All it means is that it happened. Okay. So the two are not connected. You haven't given me the one thing which shows me that the design was created.
Okay. So what I would answer to that is development of life or evolution of life is not mutually incompatible with design. Right? The second thing is Charles Darwin believed in God when he published his theory originally. His friend Charles Kingsley wrote him a letter in which, after the publication of The Origin, he said to him, if God created one cell and it evolved into the tree of life, or if God created each individual species, both of these things are equally as noble for God. I'm paraphrasing what Kingsley said. Charles Darwin was so impressed by these words, he put them in the second edition of The Origin of Species. What that goes to show you is Kingsley was a Christian, as you can imagine, and Charles Darwin was an agnostic or a deist at that time. A deist, sorry. There is no
What's a deist?
a deist is
Somebody
someone
who believes in God.
they believe in God, but they don't believe God communicates with mankind. They don't believe in religion. They believe in a type of Spinoza God or a type of Voltaire God,
Okay.
right? So Kingsley was pointing out, even if the tree of life is true, which is what you alluded to, and life developed, it's not incompatible with God. So the same thing I would say to you, if life developed or evolved, it no way, shape or form takes away from God. Now, did life evolve from a single cell 3.8 billion years ago? That's another question. But even if it did, it doesn't do away with God or design.
How could it not have developed from that one single cell?
Well, we're assuming it's one cell. That's the first problem.
Okay, so simultaneously many single cells might have happened.
For example, John Baptiste Lamarck, from which you get Lamarckian evolution, he believed there was multiple origins, and there was endless of these evolutionary lines which were converging, right? The point I make is, none of this does away with design. If anything, the question is, how does design unfold? No one is saying design has to come in an instant. Design can develop over time. Now, me personally, I don't believe in Darwinian evolution, but even if Darwinism was true, it doesn't do away with God. So I would say to you, you believe in something. Do you believe in something higher, something greater than humans?
Well, I believe, of course I do. I mean, I've studied the universe, so we're a tiny speck. So of course.
Something
there's
like a God.
bigger.
Anything like a God or a higher power you believe in?
Well, another entity, something out there which is created, I can't honestly say with any surety. How should I know?
But can you say with surety that behind design there's a designer?
No,
Why?
because I don't know.
Why would the logic fail from design there's a designer? What's the problem there?
If I could see behind the wall, the little man sitting there pressing all the computer buttons, then I'd go, oh, okay, it's that little man pressing the computer buttons. But I can't see behind the wall, so I don't know if the little man exists.
So you've probably never
I'm
seen.
talking about the Wizard of Oz now.
Yeah, I know. God, from the Islamic perspective, is transcendent, nothing like a human, beyond your imagination. I do not need to see the designer of this phone in order to know that the phone is designed.
Sure.
In the same way, Islam teaches us we cannot even comprehend God. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, taught us, reflect on creation, do not reflect on God, because you cannot comprehend God. I'm paraphrasing what he said. So we can say from design there's a designer, but we can obviously not see God, because God is beyond our imagination. God is not physical. God is beyond space, time, matter, beyond all these things.
Yeah, but it's humans, isn't it, who created the words in the Quran. It's humans, isn't it, who wrote these books.
We don't believe it. As a Muslim, I do not believe it.
You believe that the words were created.
I believe these words were inspired by God.
Okay, inspired.
They're God's words.
They were inspired, but they were written by human beings.
They were written down, but the literal Quranic verses are God's word, which were then inspired onto the heart of the Prophet.
I understand that, but to me, because I have the mind I have,
Sure.
I see that as human beings believing in something and writing them down. And for me, that doesn't show evidence.
That doesn't show.
Because I
Look,
love
no,
evidence.
that will not be. That will not be for you evidence the Quran's the word of God. Before we get to the Quran being the word of God, we have to first believe in God.
Okay.
If there's no God, there's no point talking about this. There's no point talking about why is the Quran a miracle, which I can do, unless we can speak about why God exists.
Right.
Your fundamental point is you don't agree with the design argument. You don't believe that this argument works, and I'm trying to
I
understand.
disagree or agree. I'm saying I can't look behind the magic wall.
But you don't need to believe in a designer. So your bag right now, I
Can
can
you
see.
tell me what's inside my bag?
Yeah, I cannot. But one thing I can do, I can tell you that this bag was designed because I look at the letters, I look at the shape, I look at the form, I look at the structure, I look at the function. I can tell that there was a designer behind this.
Okay. And you could say the same.
The something cannot exist.
You can't prove.
No, you can't.
You can't prove that this was designed by a
No,
person.
that's people I could see, but you can't see God and you can't prove it.
No, you can't. No.
Okay, so in order for us to believe in God, we have to see God. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying none of us can know.
But if I make the argument, I know there's a God because I see design.
Yeah.
Where's the logical flaw in that?
Well, there isn't one. There's no logical flow in what you say.
Flaw, not flow.
Flaw, F-L-A-W. Oh, okay. So,
In the structure of the argument, I'm trying to understand.
okay, where's the mistake in what you say? What did you say?
Behind design,
Yeah.
for me, there's a designer. It's a
Okay.
simple inference.
All right. No. Okay, that leaf is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Although it's lying there dying. These trees are wonderful things. But that doesn't mean that the person, the magic person behind the wall, made the tree. That tells me that the tree
But it-
comes from a seed which came from another tree, and it goes back and back and back. There's no proof that one intelligence created that.
Does it go
to
back
me.
forever?
I think so. My brain is too small
Okay,
to understand
but
forever.
okay, if it went back forever, there'd be
Yeah.
an infinite regress.
Yeah. Regress.
And then we wouldn't exist in the first place.
Regress. Infinite regress.
So,
If
for
we go back-
example, if I said to you, David, I'm going to drive off in my car and I want to shake your hand before I go. And you're like, you can't shake my hand till you shake that guy's hand. And I go to shake his hand and he says, you can't shake my hand until you shake someone else's hand. This went on forever. Will I ever drive away?
I don't understand the connection to what I'm talking
Okay.
about.
Imagine a sniper.
Right.
You have a target in front of you. You're about to shoot a target, a tank, whatever. And you need permission from someone higher up in your command. You ask the officer.
To give you order.
The officer says, no, I have to ask the general. The
I
general
don't
says,
understand what this is to do with the conversation about the tree
you're saying
design.
it can go back forever. That the leaf came from the tree came from the
Yeah.
seed came from another tree.
But that's nothing
Ah,
to do with order of command.
No, what I'm saying is you cannot have an infinite regress forever.
Why not?
Because that thing wouldn't exist. If there was an infinite regress of events, the final event that we're talking about would not have happened, would not have taken place.
I don't think our minds are big enough to understand how things started. I personally believe
That's a different point to the point I'm making though.
Going back to how the tree came about, you can go back to a time when there was. I like the idea of an original bang, an original explosion, an expansion of the universe.
And we are here now.
Yeah, we're here
Now.
now.
Yeah.
I like that idea. And then in the future, in the long distance future, everything reaches a point and then contracts. And
How
it
does
goes-
any of that contradict the existence of God?
Oh, doesn't it?
Yeah.
All I'm saying is I don't know if this is done by itself or by this little man
So if
sitting
I
behind the door.
so going
pressing
back
the buttons.
going
I
back to
don't
the
know.
you're
How
going
can
back
I?
to the point I made originally. If I am to infer behind 6 billion letters,
Yeah.
behind the functionality, the design, all of this, all this
Talking about
extraordinary
DNA,
stuff,
6 billion.
if I am to infer a designer,
Yeah.
not Islam is true, Judaism is true, just the designer, what is wrong with that logic? I don't see anything wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with the logic, but it can't be proven.
Okay, what do you mean by proven?
You can't prove to me that there is a designer. So I'm saying that the logic
Proof
is
for you,
possible.
proof for you is only empirical. It's only physical.
I say that it is possible that there is a designer, but it can't be proved.
I think the term.
We've been round
Yeah,
in
yeah.
circles
I,
2-3
I,
times.
I think the term.
That's the point,
I
huh?
think
Been
that
going
I
on
think
for
that.
1400 years.
Yeah, more.
What do you mean? I don't understand.
The
Are you
discussion.
Muslim?
Yes.
So, بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. Done.
In the beginning, there was
This
the word.
argument,
No.
you
It
want
means.
to prove.
It means.
You want to prove
God
to
is
the
one.
God-
God is
let me-
one.
Please, let me finish. You want to prove to the gentleman there is a God, but you can't prove it. And the Quran says, do not talk about it. This is it. Put the end of it. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Qul Allahu ahad. Done.
No, that doesn't make any sense.
You can't prove it. You
No.
cannot.
Where in the Quran does it say don't talk about it?
Because you cannot. Because you can't understand Arabic. This is the problem. In Arabic,
No, but okay, fine. If I don't understand Arabic,
Yeah.
give me the English translation where it says don't discuss
I
it.
can't do it.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell to keep you updated with the latest videos.